Things shifted a little bit at the top of the West. Oklahoma City beating the Suns 118-110. And of course, now they're in that top spot. SGA, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. It's his 45th 30-point game this season. Beal had 31, and Nurkic, 14 points, 31 rebounds, which broke a franchise record in most in a game in 14 years. Thunder go on the road beating the Suns and somehow also overcome 31 rebounds from Nurkic. Welcome back, Lou. I'll go to you first. You've had a rest. What did you make of that?
I thought this young team played well, and it's the tale of two teams, right? So we talk about Minnesota being a young team, having issues in clutch situations, and that being a little concerning. I don't have this concern at all with this Oklahoma City Thunder team. They play well together. They move the ball. They play fast. They play at a great pace. And at the same time, they're able to execute in half-court offense. You know, it looked like this young team got it really figured out, and they may be the real deal, and they're going to have to be a team that you got to deal with coming out of the West. So for Nurkic to have 31 rebounds and this team still outplayed him with a Kevin Durant on the floor, with a Brad Beal on the floor, and they just look like the better team. They look like the more equipped team going into this playoff run, and so you got to give them a lot of credit. Very impressive win for the OKC Thunder.
And by the way, this is what we talked about, kind of that hole in this Thunder team, if there was one. It's the size, right? They only get a Biyombo, but playing Chet at the 5, he's going to get banged up. He's going to have nights where he's going against just a physical brute like Nurkic, and he's going to have his way with him on the glass, which he did last night. 31 rebounds is shocking. Like that's crazy. But that is the weakness, I think, for they're a little thin up front. Outside of, they can go small with Gordon Hayward, and I've seen Lou Dort and Jalen Williams at the 4, but they don't have that physical Andre Drummond type guy to go and bang with a Nurkic in these situations. So they're talented, they're more skilled, they're more youthful than these teams, but that would be the kind of weakness if you look at this team, that they're going to get killed on the glass some nights, but I think their talent will still overcome that.
It makes me a little nervous that they're in that top spot because it feels very fun right now, and I'm sure the fans are having a blast. But it almost feels like this young squad is being set up for something crazy come playoffs. Chandler, is that wrong? Or are we buying them yet?
This could be the first round matchup for them, and if the Suns are healthy, this could be a real damper on a great season for them if they get beat in the first round to the Suns. And think about it. The Suns, the Mavericks, the Warriors, the Lakers. If they stay in that 1 seed, it's going to be one of those teams. And none of those, it's not going to be a sweep. It's going to be a competitive series. It's going to be a tough series. And all of those teams have size. They have their physical teams. So all of those teams are going to present some sort of challenge. Now, they also present crazy challenges to them with the way they can shoot the ball, the way they can score the ball, their quickness with their guards in transition. They have a lot of things on their side as well. But yeah, this team could be a mismatch problem for a lot of these situations that they're going to get in the playoffs, just because the West is so stacked. The days of like a 1 seed versus an 8 seed just being like an automatic sweep, that's not happening this year in the Western Conference. They are all going to be competitive series.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm excited, Lou. Okay, can we talk about Nurkic for 1 second? Because we've mentioned the 31 rebounds. He still wasn't happy, though, after this one, because he said he had 13 offensive rebounds and 16 shots and 0 free throws. So if you hear that, Lou, do you think to yourself, all right, he might have an actual point here?
He may have a point. But a lot of those offensive rebounds were getting kicked out, and some were finishes around the rim. And right there, like, it's not much contact. No fouls here. So again, those are offensive rebounds. He's working, but I don't see a lot of fouls. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, he's banging.
Seems good. Yeah.
Yeah, seems good. Seems good to me. He's banging. He makes a point. There can be some contact, but clearly we're looking at these clips. You don't see a lot of fouls being called. It looked like he's initiating a lot of the contact. That's how you get yourself to a 30 rebound game. I don't see what the beef was here. He could make a point if you didn't look at the clips, but obviously the clips tell a different story. So I don't know here.
Yeah,
I know, right? Just by the words.
That's what I was going to say. Nurkic is a guy that he kind of brings the fight to you, right? He starts the physicality.
He's a lot of that.
And then he tries to sell it. So I don't agree with him on this point. Also, like Nurkic, you took 16 shots. How many more shots? How many more shots do you want? Now, if it's about the fouls and then not getting the whistle, that's another thing. But like we said, he's the one that's initiating. He's the one that's grabbing, holding. He's the one kind of tying up. A lot of those shots that he even tried to put back up, they're shooters. That's the best three you can get off an offensive rebound. So he honestly, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, he shouldn't even have shot it. He should have just kicked it out to the Brad Beals to wide open for a 3. So I think as a big guy that bangs and hits the offensive glass as hard as he does, it's hard to complain about not getting the whistle when you're the one initiating the contact.
This Suns team, by the way, they're snake bitten as far as I'm concerned, because somehow, some way, one of the big 3 is missing in a lot of games this season. Of course, this time it was Booker. I don't know, Lou. It's an easy question: is how important is it for them to all play together? But is it vital? Are they good enough and veteran enough that, let's say that this is sort of how the season plays out, that they would be okay come playoffs?
No, it's gonna be vital, because this is a team that, very much like the Clippers, for them to be successful, they're gonna have to be whole. Everybody that they had on their roster needs to be accounted for and needs to be part of what they need in order for them to be successful going into this postseason. And we're yet to see this team complete. We're yet to see that chemistry. They hadn't went on one of those runs yet where, they strike fear in some teams where you say, wow, this is a team we really got to deal with. Like they just lost last night to the OKC Thunder. There are teams that are playing better than them, that has more chemistry than them. And we just hadn't seen it from this Phoenix Suns team yet. And so that's slightly concerning for me, but they're veteran enough where I feel like they can turn it on. Usually a team doesn't have one of those switches where you can just start playing really well, start getting your chemistry and getting everybody on the same page. But they got enough talent to do it. And so I'm not counting this team out, but there are teams that are playing better basketball together than they are. So we really need to start seeing these guys on the floor together as the big 3, as their unit, as they start to build out and try to get all the pieces around them together as well, from the bench players to the role players, everybody that's going to play a role in them trying to win a championship. But we've yet to see it.
Got to be frustrating, Chandler, to each night sort of have to deal with something.
Yeah, it's tough, and this team is built to win now. And those 3 guys, that's where all the hype, all the expectations come from those 3. So if anything, I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, because they are treading water. They are hanging in there without being fully healthy. And they did just make moves like getting a Royce O'Neal, and Eric Gordon's been solid. I think they should free Bol. I think they should get him more minutes, because when he plays, he's effective, and he's talented. He presents numerous challenges for the defense. But yeah, this team is going to go. They're going to live and die by this big 3. And unfortunately, they haven't been on the floor together. It reminds me of that Brooklyn big 3 a little bit, where they just haven't got the reps. And all the expectations of winning a championship come with those 3. So hopefully we see it. Hopefully they get healthy soon, and at least in the postseason, because this team fully loaded is a monster.
The strategy in this one it's very similar to what we saw in that Celtics game, but this time, as you guys mentioned, Josh Giddey was not respected. He did make 2 of 4 from 3. He had 10 points. I guess you could make the argument, Chandler, that this is better. This strategy worked out much better.
Well, yeah, this isn't Jaylen Brown. This guy, and these guys shooting 32% from the 3. So I think when you're playing against a team like this, and you have a Jalen Williams, you have an SGA, you have a Chet that are so good offensively, this guy's kind of the weakness. It's like playing off Draymond Green, but it's a give and take. This guy's such a good passer. When you give him space to operate, he's tall and he can see the floor. That also makes his job easier. I remember guarding Rondo back in the day. He couldn't necessarily shoot effectively from the field, but it hurts you more playing off him sometimes, because then you just give him the freedom of dropping dimes and seeing the entire floor. Sometimes it's better to pressure the guys that can't shoot, just to kind of be physical with him and force them away from the basket. This worked out sometimes. He made a couple last night. I don't really like the strategy against anybody, because you're giving them too many options. And this guy, he's a point guard. He can pass the rock. He's a smart player. So it's going to work sometimes. I think on a closeout, on a swing, if he has the ball, you kind of stunt and fake at him and let him take the shot. But just to violently play off anybody in the NBA, they're going to make some.
Listen, at the end of the day, Chandler, I think both of these teams screwed it up. Both teams lost. Giddey shot 50 from the field, won the game, and like you mentioned, very much like Rondo, You opened up passing lanes for him to attack your rim and get kickouts, and it worked for him. I think both of these teams got it tragically wrong last night. Even though Giddey's is not as crazy as Jaylen Brown's, it still worked in the favor of the OKC Thunder. So I disagree with this game plan as well.
It would piss me off and hurt my feelings all at once. It's a crazy thing to see in video form, but here we are.
yeah.
It's just so disrespectful.
I think it is more of a shock and almost like an embarrassment when you see your defender in the paint. It's almost like, God damn, this is what you think of me?
Exactly. That's hurtful. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, that man has a family.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.